Welcome back to You Can't Understand Shakespeare. My name is John Donovan. I'll be taking you through today Romeo and Juliet Act 5, Scene 1. We're reading the original text together with just me providing some explanatory notes, because the fact of the matter is you can read this if you overcome the 3 P's that prevent you from understanding Shakespeare when you read it. Number 1, performance. This is a play supposed to be performed. Number 2, poetry. We just don't know a lot about poetry these days. And prior knowledge. Shakespeare's smarter than us, but no worries. I'm here to help. I got my Norton Shakespeare, which has some fantastic footnotes. Let's dig into it. Act 5, Scene 1. Enter Romeo. We know Romeo is in Mantua, and he has no idea of anything that has happened yet. Romeo says, "If I may trust the flattering truth of sleep, the encouraging truth of sleep, my dreams presage some joyful news at hand." So Romeo's had another dream, like he said how he did a couple nights ago. Because keep in mind, this is only Wednesday, and the play began on Sunday. So his dreams presage, they predict some joyful news is coming. My bosom's lord sits lightly on his throne. His love rules in the heart. His heart is at ease in his chest. And all this day, an unaccustomed spirit lifts me above the ground with cheerful thoughts. I dreamt my lady came and found me dead. And then he catches himself. He says, "Strange dream that gives a dead man leave to think." And then he comes back and breathed such life with kisses in my lips that I revived and was an emperor. Ah me, how sweet is love itself possessed, when but love's shadows are so rich in joy. So he had a great dream. He misunderstands it though. He had a dream that he was dead, and my lady Juliet came and breathed life into his lips, and he revived, he came back to life, and then became an emperor. And he remarks how sweet love is itself possessed when it's enjoyed in reality. How great is real life when love's shadows, the dreams or images of it, are so rich and enjoyable. At which point enter Balthazar, Romeo's man. Balthazar works for the Montagues. And remember, Friar Lawrence said that he is going to send one of Romeo's men to communicate a plan to Romeo. He says, "News from Verona." How about that? He just said, I bet some joyful news is coming. How on earth did his dreams know that? And we also know that his death is coming. There will be a type of kiss, but they're not going to revive. So what is up with Romeo's dreams? There's kind of this vague supernatural element, which is just enough to be like, yeah, in this world, people can kind of have magic dreams. There's not really a science. It's just sort of a little literature-ish. It's just sort of a little fanciful. There's no hard magic system here. But yeah, their dreams throughout this are kind of interesting. And that'd be something really interesting to talk about with your English class, or with your book club, or just your friends who like to talk about this. For us, we got to get back to the text. So this news from Verona. How now, Balthazar? Like, how do things pass? It's just like, hey, what's up? Dost thou not bring me letters from the friar? Dost means does, thou means you, not. So dost thou not just mean, do you not bring me letters from the friar? How doth my lady? Is my father well? How doth my lady Juliet? That I ask again, for nothing can be ill if she be well. So if she's well, then everything else is good news. Balthazar says, then she is well and nothing can be ill. He's not really giving him the straight answer. Her body sleeps in Capel's monument. That's their mausoleum, their tool, and the Capels are the Capulets. And her immortal part with angels lives. The immortal part of her soul is in heaven. So he's kind of following with what Friar Lawrence was saying in the last scene of she is well because she's in a better place. So nothing can be ill. Maybe it's a soft way to sort of break the news. He says, I saw her laid low in her kindred's vault. Kindred is families. Vault is you can think like a bank vault, but it's not a place where money's stored. It's just a room opening that you can seal off, right? So a mausoleum vault or a bank vault. So I saw her laid in her family's vault, and presently, which means immediately, took post to tell it to you. That's said on a post horse. Pardon me, forgive me for bringing these ill news, since you did leave it for my officer, since you made it my job, it's my office, it's my duty to deliver news to you. And Romeo asks, is it even so? Is it even so? Is this true? Then I deny you, stars. I repudiate you, stars. The stars are fate. So he's cursing the stars that fate let this happen. Remember, fate is a recurrent image. There's an idea of fate in here. There's some themes about fate in here. What they are? You talk in your class. Then I did not use stars. And he now talks to Balthazar. That dash means I'm now talking to someone else. Thou knowest my lodging. You know my lodging. Get me ink and paper and hire post horses. I will hence tonight. Post horses that will deliver the post, that will deliver my letters. I will hence tonight. I will go tonight. Balthazar says, I do beseech you, sir, have patience. I beseech means I plead with you, I beg you, have patience. Your looks are pale and wild, and do signify some misadventure, some course. So you're going to go on some adventure, but it's going to be a misadventure, which means there's going to be some ill thing that'll happen. So again, he's given the advice that he's given throughout this play, which is have patience, which we know as the audience he should do, because Juliet's not dead. She merely seems like she's dead. He does not yet have news of the friar's plan. Somehow, we're going to find out later why he doesn't know this. But again, have patience. What's really happening here is an example of dramatic irony. Dramatic irony, this is different than irony. Irony is when you expect one thing to happen and something else happens. Mighty Casey at Bat is a famous poem example of that. You can go look it up. Dramatic irony, very famous in Greek tragedy. It's where the audience knows something that the characters do not. So we know that Juliet's alive. So when we see Romeo act, we're like, oh no. It's very much like the don't go in there. You know that the killer is behind the door or whatever. Someone says, I'm going to go check behind you. No, don't go in there. It builds up this feeling of panic for the characters, of dread that you know something really bad's going to happen because they don't have the information we have. If we actually thought that Juliet was dead, we'd be feeling sad for Romeo, maybe understanding him, but we wouldn't say, oh, be careful, be careful, be careful. And so, dramatic irony. And Romeo says, tush, thou art deceived. So this diagnosis that I am pale and wild, I'm about to embark on some misadventure, you are deceived. That's not true. Leave me and do the thing I bid thee do. Hast thou no letters to me from the friar? Hast thou no letters from me from the friar? The friar was going to write a letter saying what the plan is. If Balthazar has a letter, Romeo will read it, find out that this is all a ruse. He'll be patient. He'll go get Juliet. They're going to go live happily ever after. Balthazar says, no, my good lord. For some reason, he doesn't have a letter. Romeo says, no matter. Get thee gone. And hire those horses. I'll be with thee straight. So I'll be with you in a second. Exit Balthazar. And now he's going to address Juliet where he says, well, Juliet, I will lie with thee tonight. Now, where's Juliet? In heaven. How can Romeo lie with her tonight? Dying. And also her body. Where's her body? In a tomb. His body can go physically lay with her by going to the tomb. And then he can join her by dying. And he says, let's see for means. So let's see is how we normally say, let's see. And for means is the means to do this. Oh, mischief. Thou art swift to enter in the thoughts of desperate men. Mischief is desire to do sort of malicious things, bad things. So he's now addressing mischief. Mischief, you are swift. You are quick to enter into the thoughts of desperate men. He's desperate. I do remember an apothecary, a shop that sells potions and herbs and these types of things. And hereabouts it dwells. And around here it lives. That's where the apothecary is, around here. Which I late noted. Recently noted. I took notice of. In tattered weeds and with overwhelming brows, culling of simples. So an apothecary is a shop, but it's also the title of the person who works there. So I noticed him. He's in tattered weeds. He's in tattered clothes with overwhelming brows. He's got big eyebrows. Culling of simples. So he's culling herbs. Meager were his looks. Sharp misery had worn him to the bones. And in his needy shop, his poor shop, a tortoise hung, an alligator stuffed, and other skins of ill-shaped fishes. So he's always describing the shop. He said, he's a really thin, poor, wretched man, and his shop was filled with tortoises and alligators and ill-shaped fishes. It's supposed to be like animalistic and naturish, but also think maybe a little witch doctor-y after all. And about his shelves, a beggarly account. It's beggarly because it's poor. There's not a lot of stuff. Account isn't a collection, so he didn't have a lot. Of empty boxes, green earthen pots, bladders. Bladders would hold things. And musty seeds. Remnants of pack thread, which is twine, and old cakes of roses. Rose petals are pressed into cake form and then used as a sachet. They were thinly scattered to make up a show. Noting this penury, I said to myself, and if a man did need a poison now, whose sale is present death and Mantua, here lives a caitiff wretch would sell it to him. So apparently not too long ago, Romeo saw this apothecary, said, if ever a man needed poison, whose sale is present death, meaning that it is punishable by death. So if ever you needed a poison which is illegal to buy and sell, you'd be immediately killed for it here in Mantua. Here lives a caitiff, a pitiful wretch who would sell it to him. He's very poor, so he would give you the thing that you need because he needs the money. Oh, this same thought did but forerun my need, and this same needy man must sell it me. So remember, all of this is because he's saying, what are the means by which I can kill myself? He's saying, not too long ago, I saw a place where I go, hey, if ever anyone needed poison, this guy would sell it to me. He goes, of course, this thought that I had earlier foreran my current need. It came ahead of and foreshadowed it. As I remember, this should be the house. He's there. Being a holiday, the beggar's shop is shut. So it's some type of holiday. It's some type of day where it's not working. But he's going to knock and say, what ho, apothecary? And the apothecary will enter and says, who calls so loud? And Romeo says, come hither, man, come here. I see that thou art poor. Hold, wait, there is 40 ducats. Ducats are various gold coins used at times in much of Europe, and it's usually Shakespeare's usual currency for plays that are not set in England. So he's very poor, and here's 40 gold coins. Let me have a dram, a tiny bit of poison, such soon-speeding gear, quick-working stuff, as will disperse itself through all the veins, that the life-weary taker may fall dead, and that the trunk, the body, may be discharged of breath as violently as hasty powder fired doth hurry from the fatal cannon's womb. As quickly as a cannonball shoots out of a cannon, that's how quickly I want the breath to be shot out of, the life to be shot out of a body that takes this poison. And the apothecary says, such mortal drugs I have. Such drugs that could kill a mortal, I have. But Mantua's law is death. It's against the law. It's a death penalty to any he that utters them, to any he that offers to sell them. And Romeo says, art thou so bare, so destitute, and full of wretchedness, and fearest to die? Famine is in thy cheeks, need and oppression starveth in thy eyes. Contempt and beggary hangs upon thy back. The world is not thy friend, nor the world's law. The world affords no law to make thee rich. It provides no law to make you rich. Then be not poor, but break it. Break the law and take this. And this would be the 40 coins. Apothecary says, my poverty, but not my will, consents. So he's like, I am poor. This was the right argument. You're poor. You need the money. And so the apothecary says, my poverty consents, but not my will. I don't want to do this, but I'm still going to do it anyways. And Romeo says, I pay thy poverty, not thy will. So I'm not bribing you. I'm paying your poverty. Apothecary says, put this, and he'll give him the poison, in any liquid thing you will, and drink it off. And if you had the strength of 20 men, it would dispatch you straight. It would kill you immediately, even if you were 20 men strong. So this is a very powerful poison. Romeo says, there is thy gold, worse poison to men's souls, doing more murder in this loathsome world than these poor compounds that thou mayst not sell. He's making a little comment on gold. So here's your gold. And gold is a worse poison than poison. It poisons men's souls. There's more murder in this world because of gold than these poor compounds, this composition, this poison that you are not allowed to sell. I sell thee poison. Thou hast sold me none. Because I'm giving you gold. And you compare to gold, what is this? Farewell, buy food, and get thyself in flesh. Means grow fatter by the food you're buying, because remember, he's really poor and destitute. And the apothecary leaves. He says, come, cordial, which is a restorative, and not poison. So again, he's going to say, this is a cordial, this is not poison. Why? Go with me to Juliet's grave, for there must I use thee. He sees this as a good thing, not a bad thing, because it's going to unite him to his wife, to Juliet. He is clearly not thinking straight. Balthazar summed him up perfectly. You're pale, you're wild, something bad's going to happen, I shouldn't leave you. Unfortunately, he did. So, Romeo is off to the grave where he's going to go kill himself so he can be with his wife. And that is the end of Act 5, Scene 1. We're going to start all heading to Juliet's grave. We only got 2 more scenes left before we see the violent ends of Romeo and Juliet. We'll see you next time.